like...
no, that's where you're going to
That
find
is
it.
the way. That is the way.
16 and 19.
Can we give you just a few of them?
Yeah, I want to
Oh, praise.
I'm going to give you a few. Let me get Leviticus 11 and 7.
Yeah. All praises to the highest power. Abba Yahweh. Yeah. Hey, Shalom, Nehemiah. Yeah. Hey. Blessed are those who believed and haven't seen. Move mountains with the faith of a mustard seed. Closed mouths don't get fed. Ask Yahweh, please. Show your faith through your works and ye shall receive. Just put them first, turn to Matthew 6 and 33. Israelites, but our people don't care to be. A gift destroyed our heart, now we don't know our enemies. We try to please them, but our brother, it's a bloody sin. 28 and 54, that's Deuteronomy. Instead of they front their life around astrology. Brothers spreading truth and let us who we struggle.
Look like you're an Israelite. Is your father a so-called black, Latino, Native American? Latino? So you be an Israelite. Familiar with the Israelite? So you gotta repent, keep the commandments.
Hold on. You say you're familiar. What you know about the Israelites? Go give us a minute or two. You was about to get a joy butter a minute or two. I know you know the Lord.
He coming back. He went in the store, though.
All praise.
All praise.
All praise.
And we're gonna deal with that question.
Yeah, definitely.
So if your father is a so-called black, Hispanic, or Latino, you said Latino, right? That would make you an Israelite, one of God's chosen people. So my brother asked you, what do you know about the Israelites? So can you tell us? I'm sorry? All right. So do you believe that everybody is created equally? All right. Let's see what the Bible says about that. Let me get 1 and 1 first. And then 7 and 6.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1, and it reads,
Yeah.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So this is concerning Israel, right? We're in Deuteronomy 1 and 1. Moses was speaking to the Israelites. Now we're going to go over to Now we're going to go over to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. So we know the audience is still exactly the same. We're still in the book of Deuteronomy, right? So let's see what the Lord said about these Israelites.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So the Lord said that Israelites are a holy people unto him. The word holy means set apart. So the Lord said the Israelites are a set apart people. Read on.
The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
So he chose Israel to be a special people unto himself. Remember the question, right? I asked you that the Lord viewed all of us as equal. Read on.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Are we the same as everyone else?
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So the Lord, this is the words of the Lord. It's not my words, it's not his words. The Lord said that the Israelites are above all people upon the face of the earth. So do you agree with the Lord? All praises. So knowing that we're above all people, how come it's us specifically, the blacks, Hispanics, or Native Americans, that go through so much hell? Why are we at the bottom of everything? We're being tested, right?
Yeah.
Right? So let's see what the Lord said why we're in this predicament. All right?
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
That's right.
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day,
So if the children of Israel don't listen to do his commandments, what's going to happen?
that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So I asked you why us as the chosen people are going through everything we go through. The Lord said because we didn't keep his law, statutes, and commandments, so now we're cursed.
So we got to break our generational curse.
Right? So if breaking the law got us cursed, how do we get uncursed?
We got to live righteous.
How do we do that?
Go by the book.
And that's doing what?
The 10 Commandments. Yeah?
Well, there's more than 10.
Not anymore.
Let me ask you this. So you've heard of the 10 Commandments, right? But the Bible also tells us that we can't be a homosexual and get the kingdom of heaven, right? Is being a homosexual in the 10?
No.
So that's obviously another commandment outside of the 10 that we have to keep. So there has to be more than 10.
But that was in the book, that was in the Bible, right?
Right.
Which one?
It's, well, you're gonna find it in every Bible, but we read the King James, right?
But okay, but what about the Ethiopian Bible? How different is that from the King James Bible?
Well, we're not Ethiopians,
No.
right? We're the children of Israel, so why
So
would
go
we?
by King James Bible.
Right,
Correct?
right, because it's our history and our heritage book, right? If an Ethiopian wants to research his history, of course he would go to a book that contains his history, right? So we're the children of Israel. We go to the Bible, the King James, because it contains our history,
No,
right?
explain to me when King James made the Bible, he had his counsel, right?
Well, King James didn't make the Bible.
Well,
We have to
he
get
rewrote
that
it.
straight.
He wrote it from
He didn't rewrite it either. He
from
just
scrolls, no?
he gave the okay for it to be translated.
Yeah, so from the scrolls into the paper.
That's right.
Okay. But he had counsel with them, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Like y'all know not here. And everybody chose. Or was it just his decision, or was it the council altogether to see what he wanted to put in the Bible?
You got it.
It was a bunch of Hebrew scholars. They had Hebrew scholars and scribes that he authored a translation from the original Greek and Hebrew text. So the so-called Old Testament was written in Hebrew. The so-called New Testament was written in Greek, right? So he authorized translations of both of those texts. That's all that happened. It's just an authorized translation.
That's all good question. Everybody wants to know.
No, they are. That's a great question.
All praises. So back to the original question. Now we understand why we're going through what we go through, because the Lord said we didn't keep His commandments, so now we're cursed. Right? Let me get 46 real quick. We're telling you that we're the children of Israel, but we want to prove all things. Put this one, okay?
So, breaking that generational curse, number one, starts with marriage, right?
It starts with keeping the laws.
Keeping the laws, right? But
Right.
he wants us to go in pairs. Yes or no?
Uh-huh.
Right? So we got to be married.
You said he wants to go what?
Well, the thing is, all right, so you're saying that He wants us to go in pairs.
Yes.
Now, the Bible does tell us that if a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing.
Okay.
But what we're speaking of is, we're talking about keeping every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Let me get Matthew 4
So
and
we
4.
don't have to be married. Anybody, right? Not everybody has to be married. Correct?
Well, the thing is, what we're telling you is, no, you don't have to be married to keep the laws.
Okay, that's just a good question too, because some people probably think, well, I'm doing it, I gotta be married. You know what I mean?
Oh, no,
To
yeah.
follow the laws, or do I
No.
follow the laws
It's not a
by
law to
myself?
be married.
Right, it's not a law to be
All right, you don't
married.
have to be
You can keep the laws without being married.
Rogers High School, no?
That's them brothers.
Y'all went to Rogers? What year?
We were 2011.
2000.
What you got, Matthew?
My brother graduated.
It's the
in
book of
99.
Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh.
That's right.
So whether you're married or not, we go by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Right?
Right.
As the children of Israel. This is what we're trying to uncover today. We're trying to make the disconnection between the Bible and religions, because we know religions were man-made. We're teaching you about our heritage and how we're supposed to live as the children of Israel.
And real fast, are you Mexican? Okay, so you know that the Mexicans, before they were called Mexicans, were the Taino, right? The Taino comes from the Aztecs. Aztec in Hebrew means the people of time. And the Issachar, the children of Issachar, are the tribe of times, the people who know the time. So you more or less the tribe of Issachar, one of the 12 tribes of Israel.
That's right.
Right.
So we're telling you that, well, the Bible is telling you that you're a child of Israel. We want to prove all things, right? We want to continue to move through these curses, right? Let me get 46.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 46.
Bring it out.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
For how long?
Forever.
No, when we decide it's over.
Forever.
So the Lord said that the curses shall be not only a punishment, but also a sign. Because we're walking around here saying we're African American, or we're Mexican, or we're Native American, we're black. We're going by all these oppressive names that they've given us.
That's
but
right.
the Lord said we got to figure out who we actually are. So He left the curses as signs. How do we know that that's McDonald's right there? Because of the sign. So we figure out who we are through the signs.
Study our sign, right?
Right. So if the curses are the signs,
Well, so
I was about to click.
Nah.
We're not talking about the astrology or anything like that, right? We
Maybe
don't.
that's the Anunnaki, right?
We don't.
The astrology, that's from them, right?
Kind of, that's
Kind.
all.
Well, yeah, it does come from Egyptians first, but then the Egyptians that went into Greek mythology. All it's all
Okay,
myth.
they have their own names, right?
Yeah, they got their own
The
stuff.
Nephilims over there, right?
Yeah, that's their own thing. I mean, from our perspective, the signs are the curses that he put on us. So that's how you know that you're an Israelite if you fall in these signs, these curses.
That's right. Bring 15 back real quick. So now that we know that the children of Israel will be identified by these curses, we're going to go through a couple of these curses, and you tell us if it fits the people we're saying that it fits. Right?
This is Deuteronomy 28:16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So when we look around in any city that we go to, what people, right, overly populate the hoods? Forced into the worst parts, minorities, right?
Who makes up the minorities? Blacks, Latinos?
And Native Americans, right? We make up the minority. So we're the ones cursed in the city. Read on.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Cursed shall we be in the fields. Now, all of our people that we're speaking of make up the 12 tribes of Israel. We were all taken into those fields, working in the cotton fields, the tobacco fields, and the sugarcane fields. Now, it may have been taught to us that it was just so-called blacks, but it was actually all the tribes of Israel that were in those fields, right? So we were cursed in the fields. So let's get another one. Let's get.
There was Mexicans in the field, like they say.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. That's right. 47.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things,
That's right.
therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So again, since we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and happily, glad to do it. Because if we're a chosen people, we got to behave like it. We got to be happy to be his chosen people and serve him. What's going to happen? 48.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies,
So the Lord says, since we didn't do that, we would serve our enemies. How are we going to serve them?
which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
Do we own any of these major food companies, these grocery stores, these farms? So we serve them in hunger. What else?
And in thirst.
What about water companies? Do we own that? Right. And he's a nation. He's from the nation of what? He's an Edomite, right? He's one of the heathen nations. Any nation outside of the nation of Israel are the heathens that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
Right? What else?
And in nakedness.
So we serve them in nakedness, right? Let's not be simple and say our people can't own a clothing store, right? But who do we have to go to get the material, the building, and the license to own it? Exactly. So we serve them in nakedness. What else?
What God called them. Which are the heathens.
Crazy.
And in want of all things.
Uh-huh.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck
Uh-huh.
until he have destroyed thee.
What nation of people had yokes of iron upon their necks?
Google yoke of iron. Only one nation of people have a problem.
That's Israel. So can you see?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Even the so-called Mexicans.
So can you see how we're making the disconnection between religions and heritage? Because these things that we're telling you or reading you actually are based off facts. We know that these things actually happen and are still happening.
These are where religions come from. So the heathen, right? They got Constantine in 325 AD, the Council of Nicaea. That's where Christianity and Catholicism. Right? And when Ponce de Leon and all the Spaniards came to conquer Mexico, they forced you guys into their religion by the sword. They made you guys serve Catholicism. That's why the majority of so-called Mexicans are Catholics. That's why they prayed to Maria. And Maria, you're not supposed to be praying to them. You're praying to the Most High God.
Explain to me the
O.F.I? That's in scripture. That's
Everybody, but every tribe has their own.
Has their own stone.
it represents the 12 tribes.
Who belongs to which crystal belongs to which?
Well, we can go through that, but you might as well bring up the how about something.
I just got that somebody, I don't know what that is.
Which
Friday night to Saturday night. Yeah, when it's dark. You can go outside, you don't see no light.
I just left the house.
Now,
And,
9:30.
just talking about these.
9:30.
All praise.
9:30.
That's the spirit. My spirit led you
He read me
here.
this day.
Right.
I
All
got
praise.
the butter.
All
Yeah,
praises.
but you know,
Well, it was the
But that's
spirit
what,
that led
that's
you
what
here.
we're talking about. We're talking about the crystals right now. And which one belongs to each tribe. Because I showed her this right here of the 12 tribes. So I snapshot it.
yeah, we can do like that, but like you said, yeah, y'all, everything that got seed in it was only made to
What does it belong to? What tribe
That's it.
belongs to
You
what?
can't deal with nothing. You got to deal with it. You know,
Well,
that's just, that shit I've done for years now.
Well, first and foremost,
That was last
You
time.
know what I mean?
we'll be remiss to ask. We'll be remiss to ask now. No, what's your nationality? What would you say now?
All praise.
Because that's our main goal. You know, we want to tell people
Not just saying,
It's like we put more fear in they 6% of most
exactly. Now the E.F.I does go into the 12 tribes.
Real quick. You know what I'm talking about? Look, you gonna quit no matter how. I'm gonna show you exactly when I quit.
Because it matters, but more so than anything, knowing who you are and what we have to do matters more
Last
than
gas.
anything. Because once you know
Last
who you
gas,
are,
August
first and
8th,
foremost,
2019, my last mile
there's
was
requirements. It's not just, it's not good just to know it. So once you know, there's a requirement. Let me read you that real fast before we get to the stone. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10 and verse 12. And now Israel, I don't know you, what does the Lord thy God require of thee? What does he require? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. It says to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command you this day for thy good. It is for our own good, right? That we keep his commandments, and that his commandments free us. But it's not hard to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we have to do our due diligence getting back to our Bible. A lot of times, being the so-called minority, we're pushed away from the Bible because we think it represents religion. But once you see that religion misrepresents the Bible, that's when you'll start to understand what the Bible's about, what it's truly saying. Right? You've always seen this image of Christ, right? Yeah, right? There you go.
I was going to do that next.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you do gotta go that way.
Right. So let me see the footage. So if you see, your tribe, Issachar, is the diamond. All praise. And there's power in that diamond because the diamonds, and even as you see the emerald, right, from Judah, which would be the so-called Negroes of America. Right? If you know anything about Africa and the mines and what's going on in Africa, the so-called Jewish people who are not a Jew, really the so-called blacks of America, the Jews, real Jews. These Jewish people own the diamonds and emerald mines in Africa. They own everything, for sure. But you gotta think about the precious stones. Exactly. And it's for purpose, right? Because we didn't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Because if we were following the law, statutes, and commandments, we would own everything. We would be in that state of power, which we're going to be back in very soon. I'll show you what's going to happen to you.
You already got some shit you doing and you following and doing. You'll be right back.
Because right now we're being punished and we do the curses right now. It's not going to remain. Right? He said the Sunday is the Lord of us, but us back on top.
We're going to
We gonna be part of it. Watch.
We're talking about right now. We're
Hey,
going to be those
now
people
that
that are in
our discernment in these talks, bro, we gonna be putting the pressure on.
Right.
Are they under like, hey, man,
It's
I need
prophesying
all
that
praise,
all
all praise, man. All right, man. It's
those who
man.
led his people into captivity shall go into captivity.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation.
So the Lord knows the works and the tribulations of it. So like our works and everything we're going through.
And poverty.
He knows our poverty.
Thou art rich.
But he says we're rich. Because not only are we the children of Israel, that means we're rich in spirit. And we're going to inherit the kingdom of heaven. Right?
And I know thy blasphemy of those who say they are Jews and are not,
Those who say they are Jews but are not.
but are the synagogue of Satan.
Go over to 3 and 9.
Well, fast, he got 3 and 9. So who do you know calls themselves Jews more than anybody on this planet? Who calls themselves Jews?
You just said they own everything.
That's Jewish, right? Now, if I called you childish, I'm not saying you're an actual child, right? I'm saying you're acting like a child. So Jewish is what you're doing. They're trying to act like a Jew. Right? So the ish in the end.
The book of Revelations, chapter 3 and verse 9.
Yeah.
Behold, I make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
So when that day comes, he's going to bring those Jewish to the feet of the real Jews to worship us. And then they will know that the Lord has always loved us, right? We are the children of Israel, his chosen people, and that has never changed, right? So the message today is we got to keep his law, statutes, commandments, because breaking the law got us cursed. So keeping the law is what's going to get us uncursed. Right, there's more than 10 commandments, right?
Yeah.
All right.
How is somebody putting in the book? You know what I mean? But is there like
No, that's where you're going to
That
find
is
it.
the
in the
way.
book?
That is the way.
16 and 19.
Can we give you just a few of them?
Yeah, I want to
Oh, praise.
I'm going to give you a few. Let me get Leviticus 11 and 7. Let me get...
So do you eat pork by any chance? Pork? It's like pork, like...
Yeah, that's bad.
oh,
you don't eat it?
No, we're not allowed to eat that. I know that.
Oh, praise.
That's not in the
Let me
Ten
clap it
Commandments.
up with him once in a while.
praise.
Oh, praise.
Those pigs, and those pigs, the demons, there's demons in those pigs.
You're right, bro.
Yeah.
Praise.
I didn't have one.
So what about seafood?
That's bad. Right? That's creatures.
Do you eat it?
All praise.
So likely now all seafood, shrimp, crab, lobster, bottom fish. We didn't bring it out.
Oh, yeah,
Huh?
Well, let's bring it out. Let's get it out.
The serpent fish. All right, this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
So everything that's in the waters, this is what we can eat.
Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters,
Uh-huh.
in the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
So whatever has fins and scales, that's 2 requirements that anything in the waters have to meet. It's got to have fins and it's got to have scales. You know?
And all that have not fins and scales in the seas
That's what?
and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
It's an abomination unto the children of Israel. So if we eat anything that doesn't have fins and scales in the water, we're eating an abomination.
That's right.
Right? All
So
praise.
even the whole sea moss, I don't know about the sea moss craze.
God, let's get this next
an
one.
abomination as well. It's an abomination.
That's
No, because I hear a lot of people talking about sleep.
It's moving in the water.
God, all praise.
With the pigs. Oh, go ahead, Mama. Or go ahead, Daddy.
What were you gonna say? We're going on to the next law. This is about the Sabbath day.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
To keep it what?
To keep it
To
holy.
keep it what?
To keep it
holy.
And the word holy means set apart.
That's right.
So we keep the Sabbath day set apart from other days. Right?
6 days shalt thou labor. 6 days shalt thou labor.
Take it back from 8.
Yeah, bring it from top.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So we have 6 days that we can labor and do all of our work as the children of Israel, right? 6 days that we can do all of these things. But on the 7th day,
But the 7th day is the Sabbath day of the Lord thy God.
Of who?
Of the
Lord thy God.
Uh-huh.
In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
all praises. So we see none of us are doing any work on the Sabbath. And that's for the children of Israel. No manners of work, right? All praises.
But
Let me get
to clear it up, we are allowed to do the works of the Most High God, like we're doing right now. So we're allowed to do the holy work, which is bring out the scripture to our people, so they know who they are in these last times and what we're supposed to be doing, right?
That's right.
And you need my temple? I had that. I'll bring it up. It's the book of Nehemiah, chapter 10 and verse 31. Because outside of working on the Sabbath, we also aren't supposed to be cooking, cleaning, doing anything. We're supposed to be resting on the
That's
Sabbath.
right.
That's why there's a day of preparation.
Got a mic, King.
All praise. That's why there's a day of preparation the day before. So Friday, before the nightfall comes, you're supposed to be preparing for the Sabbath. So it means cooking what you'll cook that day so that you'll have it to eat the next day, and doing all the work that you need to be done that day, so that you can just rest on the Sabbath day, because it's holy. Now this is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 10 and verse 31.
Bring it out.
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day, and that we would leave the 7th year and the exaction of every day. So what we understand is that we weren't buying things from merchants of different nations on the Sabbath day, so we don't profane the Sabbath day. You know what I mean? That's something that we didn't know. All right. Well, is your father a so-called black, Latino, or Native American?
Black.
He's a black man? Well, you would be an Israelite according to the Bible, one of God's chosen people.
That's right.
Keep the
That's right.
commandments. That's what we're trying to tell you, sis.
Okay.
All right. Peace and blessings. Have a good one.
We're going to bring this out on the Sabbath as well.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 58 and verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day.
So doing our pleasures on his holy day, we have to turn our foot away from that.
And call the Sabbath a delight, the holy Lord honorable. Calling the Sabbath, and call the Sabbath the delight.
You got it.
You got it,
And
King.
call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words.
All praises. So on the Sabbath day, we're staying away from our own pleasures. We're not speaking our own words. We're not just having general conversations on the Sabbath day. We're not talking about what LeBron James did last night, right? We're not talking about the drama that was happening at work when we were there last, right? We're keeping the Sabbath holy, and we're not taking after our own pleasures.
Right.
We're not speaking our own words. We're in our Bibles, we're studying, or we're resting, right? Because we also supposed to rest on the Sabbath day, right? So that is a couple laws that you can take with you that you can start doing your best to keep.
And now, real quick, you would ask where to find the law, right? So it is all through the Bible, but the law in specific is the first 5 books of the Bible.
That's
so
right.
From Genesis to Deuteronomy. And I'll implore you to read that, so you can get a good knowledge of what we're supposed to do.
Let's get this last one.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26.
Bring it up.
For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth.
So after we receive this knowledge of the truth today, if we willfully sin, meaning I know I'm not supposed to do this, I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I'm just going to do it anyway because I heard that we have mercy and grace. We don't receive the mercy and grace when we're willfully doing these things. You receive that mercy and grace when you're striving to do your best to keep the law and you may fall short.
That's right.
Right?
Read on.
there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins.
So if we sin willfully after getting the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for those sins. We don't just get an unlimited time of how many times we can just go out and do things, right? Now, we can't put a cap on the mercy that he'll have, because the Lord is going to have however much mercy he chooses. But if we're willfully sinning, we can just see through the precepts that it's not going to vote in your favor, right? So we can't take this knowledge today that we gained and just say, I'm just going to continue to do the things that I've been doing, right? We can't willfully sin and then expect grace and mercy.
That's right.
Right? Now, I know I said one more, but let me get one more, all right? Let me get 1 Corinthians 3. 1 Corinthians 3.
Let me get in there.
Come on.
It's our heritage, right? We're bringing out our heritage and our law, statutes, and commandments that we're supposed to keep as the children of Israel, right? We're reading the Bible, right? Believe in the Bible? All praises. So listen in on this. You got that? Bring it out.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3 and verse 17.
Yo.
If any man defile the temple of God, him shall destroy. Him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are.
Listen to the word
So
of
the
God.
Lord
Listen
said
real quick.
that our bodies are his temple, right? Any man that defile the temple of God, he shall destroy, right? So I brought that out specifically because the Spirit was put on me to bring it out specifically, because I had to tell you, sis, that that's destroying your temple when you're smoking that.
Oh, I smoked cigarettes for like 12 years.
And we understand that it's a walk, right? We understand that it's a walk, but it's things that we know that we have to put away. So you got to be striving to do your best to put it away, right? Right? You got to be in the spirit and not in the flesh, because the flesh is weak, but the spirit is mighty, right? So we know we got to put those things away, right? All praises. All praises. All praises. Let me get Ecclesiastes 12 and 13.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13.
Yo.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Everything we just talked about, let's sum it up.
Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man.
Fear God and keep his commandments, because that's our duty as the Israelites, right? We know that the Lord gave us the law. Let me get Psalms 147 and 19. We know that the Lord gave us the law and that we have to keep it. That's our duty, right? Because when he sends his son back to save the children of Israel, those that are keeping the law are the ones that are going to be saved.
That's right.
Right? Now we know that he's going to have mercy, but you got to be doing your best to receive that mercy. Right? Psalms 147, 19. What you call 14 and 12? 19.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 147 and verse 19. He sheweth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and judgments unto Israel.
So he gave his law, statutes, and commandments unto Israel, right? Read on.
He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
That's how special we are. Remember in 7 and 6 of Deuteronomy, we read that we are his special and chosen people. We're so special that he only gave us the law.
That's right.
And the rest of the nations have not known his judgments, because he's only dealing with us. Let me get Amos 3 and 2. What you call Revelation?
Revelation.
You have any questions before we read on? All praises.
Revelations 22 and 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city.
All praises, right? So blessed that do their commandments, we will have the right to the tree of life,
That's right.
and will enter into the gates of the city of heaven, right?
This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Surely the Lord God will do nothing But he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
All praises. So those who are doing his works, that's how we're able to break down these precepts the way that we do. Because once you come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, he gives you a new understanding of what's being read.
That's right.
A lot of our people pick up their Bible, but we still lost. We still don't know that we're supposed to be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. It's because we don't keep them. So we don't know, because we haven't been taught that knowledge. Right? All praises. Let me get Revelation 14 and 12.
The book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 12.
Bring it out.
Here is the patience of the saints. Here are thy that keep the commandments of God in the faith of Yahushua.
All praises, right? So that is the patience of the saints. Remember we said we're waiting on the return of the King. So while we're patiently waiting, you got to keep the commandments and the faith in his son.
Okay.
Those are the things that are going to get you the kingdom of heaven, right? All praises.
One time. What's your nationality?
All praises.
Get the most high God in there, man.
Knowing that you're Israel, what do we have to do?
That's
All
right.
praises. And faith in who? I'm sorry? And faith in the Son, right? Bring it back.
In English. All praises. No, hold on real quick. You didn't catch it. You said Joshua. Oh, you said Joshua? Oh, all praises.
If you ain't gonna break down what Yahushua is, do it one way. Read it verbatim.
Yeah, but just talking about the go ahead.
Revelation, the book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God in the faith of Jesus.
All praises. So we got to keep the commandments and faith in the Son, right? Now we understand that, you know, the Hebrew, well, it's written as Jesus, but we know in the Hebrew his actual name is Yahushua, right? The Father's name is Yahweh. Well, that goes off into all of that Egyptology, the sun god Ra, and all of that stuff. And there's no history or heritage built on those things to prove those things. That just goes into these things here, man-made religions. All praise.
But you had a separate question about the worship and stuff. But then also, I just want to clear this up. You know that the Son isn't the God. It isn't God, right? All praise. The Son is the Father. All praise. We were just debating that, so we just wanted to clear it up.
I'm going to show you the reason why our people do those things. Jeremiah 17.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4.
Bring it up.
And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
So the Lord said, for not keeping his law, statutes, commandments, our people would discontinue from our heritage. Meaning we won't know. We won't know who we are. We're the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's why we think we're African American, black, Mexican, Native Indian, Native American, right?
Read on.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
We didn't know this land. We were brought over here to serve our enemies, and we didn't know this land.
For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
It's because we made the Lord very angry. For not keeping